This is Rick, and we're doing a short coffee and conquest moment. And I've got Skip and Mike with Edifice. The question I want to throw out on the table for discussion is: there's so many changes that have taken place in our marketplace, and 2019 is so vastly different than what it was back in, say, 15, 20 years ago in merchandising our product. So the question I have is: how does a Buick GMC dealer find ways to use the internet and use all that digital stuff we're hearing about to dominate their local market? And what I mean by dominating their local market, going after that prospect that's looking at a Ford or Dodge or Honda product. Skip, what are some of the things that they need to look at and need to consider and think about?
Well, Rick, that's a great question. One of the things that I've always looked at in this is, what is the buyer's journey? What is the buyer's journey in 2019? And maybe if we look at that, we can address it. It used to be 15 or 20 years ago that the only place that a buyer, a prospect, could find information about cars was at the dealership. So 25 or 30 years ago, or as little as 15 or 20 years ago, they would have to get information from multiple dealers. As we know, the number of dealers they're visiting has dropped significantly. That disparity of information has been changed by the internet. Information on General Motors products is readily available out there in the internet. But that allows a couple things to happen. And that's not the only thing that has changed. The other thing has changed that each one of your dealers has two locations. They've got their brick and mortar physical location, but they've also got a location out in the internet, and that's their website. And while General Motors spent a lot of time, resource, and energy and study awarding that dealership's franchise area, the internet, the amount of study and research out on their website location might not be as great. You want people to have easy access to your brick and mortar franchise. Similarly, you want easy access to your website. So the links that are on that website, the keywords which are embedded in the content or what that website is saying, the reviews for the business, all those affect the ability of a prospect to find that website in the Internet of Things. And that's what optimization, search engine optimization, is all about. Just like you would want maps to get to your dealership showroom, you want maps to help you get to your website, because the prospect's journey in 2019 or 2020 really starts in the Internet and ends up in the showroom. And how you do that and how you reach those people, it's really exciting in 2019 and 20, because digitally you can geo-control how you reach those people. Well, if we want to reach those people and direct them to you, not only your showroom, but to your website, and you've properly optimized your website, and they can get there easily, how do you get those people to those two locations? Well, when they're out, those prospects are out seeking information in the web, in the Internet of Things, and interesting transactions going on. They use browsers. These are applications that allow them to navigate the web. You know your browsers as things like Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox. These browsers allow you to seek out applications. Actually, Facebook's an application, or websites, and it happens in your mobile devices too. And when your browser got you in an application or it's got you on a website and you're reading information, your browser and that website or browser and that application are sharing information. And part of the information that is being shared is what you or the prospect is looking at. So if we know what prospects are looking at and we know how to identify the person that owns that browser, and you can through things like IP addresses or device IDs, even though they're anonymized, it's still an identity. That information is being collected out there in big platforms called data marketing platforms. If you know and can make assumptions about what their reason for them looking at all this information, then you have the ability to build an audience. And if you can build an audience and you can market to them digitally, and you can push offers into Facebook to a specific audience, you can email, you can deliver mobile and display ads to specific audiences. You have the ability to influence, and by continually reaching these people, you have the ability to engage them and then direct them either to your website or right to your showroom directly. And that's the advantage that the digital world gives you over traditional advertising, because you can actually track what's happening on your website, and you can track whether your offers are actually being seen by anything. Because in the digital world, you'll know when somebody's in the environment. For instance, they're in their application or they're on Facebook, and you can actually send the offer to them in that environment when they're on it. It gives you an opportunity to control your primary market area, identify an audience that has a high probability of buying your products and services, and send and engage and influence and direct. And I would think that that's what the difference is in 2019 and 20.
No, that's perfect. Mike, since this is just a short peek into this, what are some of your thoughts, or what would you like to say to wrap up?
Well, Skip sums it up beautifully. Since we know their behavior and we know what they've been looking at, that continuous exposure that Skip was mentioning, that is really the key, the continuous exposure to the individuals who are the most likely to be receptive to what you're selling or servicing. And I would say that the true philosophy or the true strategy would be to make sure that when you do take something like this on, that you do continue it, that you do it in a fashion that builds rather than takes a shot. We're not talking about taking a shot here. We're talking about building awareness of your dealership through repetition and to the right audience.
Engagement.
I want to thank both of you for doing this. We're doing a series of these, and we'll probably have you back multiple times. But again, thank you for taking the time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.